Ja, doe ik.
Okay, Rancid, take it away.
Yeah.
Does Moses does an introduction?
Okay. Well, you are all welcome. I can see that we have 8 people, including myself. That's 9. This is our first meeting to discuss the proposed board members of CLT. And I want to thank every one of you that have responded positively to be part of this great initiative. So I just want to welcome you. The program is like this. Renzi will present, Jeep will say something, and Cecil will give us an update. So thank you for coming, and I hand over to Jeep and Renzi and Cecil.
Okay, thank you, Moses. Just before I start, did everyone receive the presentation for today?
Yes.
Yes, it came with the WhatsApp message.
Okay, great. And was everyone in opportunity to read it?
Yeah, I did a quick browsing through this afternoon. And it looked clear to me, yeah.
Okay, so we will go through it at a pretty fast pace because everybody has already read it. So we have some more time for questions and to discuss it with each other.
That's fine.
Okay. And I'm sharing my screen, so I hope everyone can see my presentation that I'm sharing, so we can all discuss and say about the same subjects.
Right.
Maybe explain for a second how you can, if you don't see it, how you can show it.
Yeah, if you're not seeing the presentation, then you should go to my window in the Meet, and there you can, instead of you seeing my face, you see the presentation.
Yeah.
So there are 11 little things. There's people with an 11.
Mm-hmm.
If you click on that,
yeah.
There's also Renze Bos and then presentation between brackets. If you click that, you see it.
Is there anyone that is not seeing the presentation?
Yeah, yes, I don't see it because I have a screen, but I have on my PC heb ik the official landlust thing.
Okay, and can you, because okay, but do you see the presentation?
I had to read it, the presentation.
Okay.
The 30 points.
Okay, so now I'm with the slides results up to April. That's just a quick summary about what is achieved until now. I won't read it because you've all read it as a preparation. This is important. We are at the definition of the community land trust. It is defined as a community-led development of permanently affordable housing and community infrastructure on community-owned land. That's a very long sentence with a lot of words. And it is like basically is saying that it is a combination between people that are building the community, do the organization and emancipation, and it is about trust. It's also about operation of real estate, and it is about a community-owned piece of land. So this is, it's still, because it is a complex subject, the community land trust. It's not that easy because we have not done it yet in the Netherlands. This is the very first time. So you are part of the front runners of this movement. So it is new. So we have to still create language and share language with each other that is hopefully step by step is making more understandable. For this slide, are there any questions?
Yeah, well, I have some questions about some of the acronyms and abbreviations. But I think I'll leave that to the end so that we can cover the general concept of everything. And then
Okay.
those are minor details I can sort out later.
Okay.
Cecile, you're making minutes, right?
As in checking the time, you mean? I'm serious. Or making screenshots.
Notes.
Oh, notes. Okay.
Just
From Renze bedoel je? Of the comments
From everybody.
from everybody. Okay.
okay.
Now,
So the next slide is the governance of the community land trust, and governance is about how we govern and organize the community land trust. And this is a very important slide, because this slide also on the right you see the symbol or the figure where we can see that it is a cooperation between the CLT H-Buurt and the CPO or Woon co-op and the CLT Belmer. So these are three different organizations with three different legal structures. And I will explain why it is separate.
Right.
Because the CLT in the H-Buurt, that is where we are together for now. CLT H-Buurt, the vereniging to become a vereniging. That is for the people in the neighborhood. It is like bringing those people together, finding out what the needs are, and are thinking about which members are granted access if there is building where people can own an affordable house. So that is the focus of the CLT H-Buurt vereniging for we are today here. There's a difference because the CPO Woon Co-op, that is a different legal entity or a stichting or vereniging yet to be formed. And there's a difference because the CPO and Woon Co-op, that is responsible for the actually building process of the complex. And it is a different legal entity because it is a lot of responsibility you take on if you're going to develop a building. You need to get a big funding organized or mortgage with the bank. It will take a lot of planning and a lot of like construction details and also developing work that is very specialized. And also I was visiting a community land trust in America. They are now around for 60 years in the Berkshires, and they are advising other community land trusts, please do it separately. Make a separate legal entity for the neighborhood and the people that are going to live there, and make a different legal entity for the organization that is going to develop the building. So that is advice we listen to them. They are around for a very long time, and also in hundreds of other community land trusts, it is usually organized in a separate way where the developing legal entity is different than the legal entity where the people from the neighborhood are organized together.
Yeah.
So that's two. We have one to go, the CLT Belmer. The CLT Belmer is basically for knowledge and expertise and support for the CLT H-Buurt vereniging. So the CLT Belmer is for also the K-Buurt, for example. So it is also the link between different neighborhoods, and it is a place where there is a lot of advice and also control available. So we go more into detail about the checks and balances in a different slide, but these are the three different legal entities that I want to give a little bit more explanation about, because this is like the basic infrastructure or the map we are going to work with the coming years, actually. So this is where I want to talk a little bit more about and also have some more time for questions, because this is an important slide and an important distinction.
And you see also, can I add one thing, Renze?
Mm-hmm.
That there is, if you go back to the other slide and the diagram, and then or the next or this one, you see there's the same colors, so it is the same responsibilities also. So, for example, the CLT Belmar, the orange one, general interest. So they make sure that the land is commonly used, for example, forever, or like or the CLT H-Buurt, that is the community interest. Or no. All right, that's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Jip. So, any questions?
The H-Buurt and the CLT-X is just for a generic, let's say, representation of, let's say, future CLTs. Is that correct?
Exactly. The H-Buurt is, for example, the K-Buurt or another buurt.
Okay.
It is, or maybe it's a new existing neighborhood somewhere in the Bijlmer that I don't know of. That's another opportunity.
No, it is. It's just an example, and also, it can also be that in the H-Buurt, so the orange, the pink one, CPO or woonkoops, this can be also multiple buildings with tenants. It does not need to be one. So CPO, that means collective, private ownership. This is a way to develop your own building or housing. And woon cooperations, that is a way to develop your own housing, but the mortgage is like, there's only one mortgage, so there's not mortgage in every house. So these are two ways how to organize affordable housing. And that is also what the municipality of Amsterdam adopted and knows. Okay. So that is very important, that it's not a new system. It is within an existing system. We add an element of CLT H-Buurt that controls the members and makes sure that with CLT Belmers, forever the land is there. So it is adopting existing affordable housing practice.
Okay. Okay, cool. Now, between the H-Buurt and the H-Buurt, so the CLT Bijlmer in this case becomes the, let's say, the governing body or the central body to coordinate all the different CLT built accommodation. Is that correct? Because I see a link, the circle connecting the H-Buurt with H-Buurt suggests to me maybe it's like a governing.
Yeah, at this point, it is also, if we go in the next slides, it will be explained more, but it is between those rounds, you see advice and control. So between CLT Bijlmer and CLT H-Buurt, and between CLT Bijlmer and woonkoops, it's like knowledge and support. Correct. So that is, in the end, if you go into the, what does it do if you go into the statute, it's building like a board of advice.
Yes. So
it is not yet, that's like when you go into it. But yeah, there is a link that in this way, it is also not it is, for example, possible for the municipality to take part in this. For example, the Dirk de Jager, the bestuursvoorzitter from the stadsdeel, because he does not choose for somebody, he just chooses for the general interest.
Right.
But you are correct. It is like the CLT Bijlmer is a place where there's not a lot of knowledge. So that knowledge is available also for the H-Buurt, but also from other neighborhoods. Okay, so that is the knowledge and advice function that entity has.
And this is also a new shift that we made, because before it was always CLT Bijlmer, but we've came to realize that we were missing, like, that we needed to have more the interest of the CLT H-Buurt in front, but make sure that the general interest was also there to safeguard the CLT concept.
Okay, cool.
Renze, can you continue?
Yeah, are there any other questions about this slide? Okay, then we go to the next slide. So here is where you see with a little bit more words, actually what we were saying in the last slide. Jip, do you have anything to add for this slide?
Yeah, so it's exactly the same diagram again as the first. But now it is just being added, the organization logos, so that it is clear which one is there. And if you click one more time, Renze.
The future entity? The next slide.
No, yeah, if you click on the next slide, the future entity thing will... Yeah, can't see slide. Moses can't see slide, but that will appear. Moses, if you can't see the slide, you have to go to people where there's 11 persons there. Then you go to Renze and then presentation between brackets. But click one time Renze, then the separate entity like will appear. It's like animated.
I see the future entity in my screen.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's lagging or something because I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there it is. So here you see that there are two entities. Actually, Community Land Trust is not an entity, but Community Land Trust H-Buurt, that is why we are here now. And the main things is that so CLT H-Buurt creates economic and social value to the H-Buurt and empower residents in neighborhood development. CLT Bijlmer, it is there, but you see that the separate legal entity does not yet exist. That is an important thing to know.
And for the H-Buurt, it is like, what is the core that we are together for? It is like two things that we written down that were for us like very clear, and it's also like the main focus we were like doing the work for the last month. It is also about affordable housing for the next generation, and it is also for community transformation. And that is where like we had a lot of conversation together with Moses about and what we are here for. That's the Vereniging H-Buurt is to like bring together the community and transform it. Do you have anything to add, Moses? No, I don't think Moses is there. Are there any questions for this slide?
Can I ask something? Yeah, those three interconnecting entities, if I may put it. What is the legal structures of those entities like? So, like, you have the community itself, the operations of the real estate, and then you have the land. They are interconnecting each other with the CLT as the core connecting entity. Now, the thing I'm asking is that what is the structure of their legal standing? Because I want to assume that they would all be registered in the Chamber of Commerce.
Good question. Yes, that's absolutely true. So because we are in this is the first community land trust organization in the Netherlands, it is all being in the startup phase. So the first legal entity that's being formed now is the CLT H-Buurt Vereniging, where we are together for here now. And the CLT Bijlmer has to be legalized and into the Chambers of Commerce yet to become. And that is the same story for the CPO and Wooncoop. So for we need 3 legal entities at the end, and now we almost have 1. So that is the phase where are we in now.
But
we don't know if it is needed. So the CLT Bijlmer will be, we don't know yet if it will be really needed to be a legal entity. But it will have, now it will be a part of the CLT H-Buurt because it will be the Raad van Toezicht. We will come to that. Okay. And a CPO or a wooncoop is normally also arranged as or a vereniging or a cooperation.
Yeah.
So that is only when we have won a tender or when we can really do a project.
But then why I'm throwing this in is that if you take the geography and let's say the demographic of the locality where CLT H-Buurt will be situated, you're going to have, it's just my opinion because I'm trying, let me put it in this context. It's like saying that I'm going to have a project in North Holland, okay? And then I'm calling it Amsterdam. So I'm just trying to figure out why probably don't we look at the CLT Burma as the umbrella organization under which the different CLTs, okay, when they are statutory legalized and the rest, because then you are now saying that there's going to be a CLT Burma, a CLT H-Buurt, a CLT X-Buurt, and so forth. They may have their legal structures, and the CLT Burma, whereby the Burma seems to be the enclave, and all these buttes are in the Burma. I don't know if you get me. So like Burma in itself, geographically, is a wider neighborhood. And you have the H-Buurt, the X-Buurt, and the rest in the Burma.
So for now, I understand your question, but we need to be very pragmatic. So what we know is that we have a community that is rooted in the H-Buurt. So the interest of the H-Buurt, or at least all the community members that are there. So it is just a name, but it is now localized in the H-Buurt.
Okay.
So therefore, it is good if this is going to be really the first project within the first CLT within the Belmar. It is very good to actually tie it to like the H-Buurt or like a specialized. It can also be called a CLT MCTC. That's also possible.
Unless probably if. Go ahead, please.
But for now, it seems like a strategic choice because, you make sure that the first project you're going to do will be for the community that we're working for now. The community that you guys are part of and that are mostly members of MCTC. So the locality, so CLT, the H-Buurt, it is just because MCTC is around there. So we could also call it a different name without the locality. That is also possible.
Okay. I get unless probably if there is also the possibility when they say Burma, that H-Buurt is not considered as Burma. If that is the case, then I will understand you. If the H-Buurt is considered as part of Burma, then my suggestion would then be, why not CLT Burma, H-Buurt, CLT Burma, K-Buurt? I'm just thinking into the future because it's a good project we want to do, but identification of the project can have an effect on the success of the project. That's all I'm saying anyway.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And Cecile is also writing these comments and remarks down so we can store and save them. So
but the name for the vereniging, we can still choose. That is for sure. But the main purpose why we want to set up the vereniging, because it is tied to the community that we're working with.
Right. Okay. May I ask, we have for now these three entities. We have the. Let me see. Let me go back so I can. Okay, let's say we have the CLT Burma, the CLT H-Buurt, the One Corp. Now, which of these three we're going to set up? First of all, to get started, which one are we going to set up first of all?
The CLT H-Buurt, the blue or gray one.
Okay, all right. But you said that the CLT Burma will be like will be playing an advisory role. So why do you set that up later instead of that first, and then let's say the daughter organizations or verenigings as well?
Yeah, very good question. Because there are two reasons. Like, first of all, the CLT Belmer is also here in the form of Jip. He has a lot of knowledge and skills. And basically for now, zeg maar, it's like the CLT Belmer is formed with some different experts. So, but the experts are already there. So the knowledge is there.
Okay.
That's one reason. And the second reason is that the CLT H-Buurt is for the people that are living in the H-Buurt, and they are going to be organized in a vereniging or with a membership model.
Okay.
So you need people to form a community land trust. Without people, it's never going to be a community land trust. So this is the most important part, that people are organized together and get a voice. So that is where you need members and people first.
Okay, excellent. What are the modalities for going about setting up the vereniging with all the members? Do you have any idea how we're going to go about it?
Very good question. We're going to, I think we have it in the other slide. This is the.
Can we just continue the slide first and then come back to that question?
Okay, fine.
Okay. So these were the aims of the H-Buurt. Catalyze community transformation and enabling access to affordable housing.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
The main activities. This is very important, and also Moses, together with Cecile, make like a first draft for also a 5-year plan that is to be also discussed for the next time. Moses, can you say anything about it here, or do you want to save it for the next time? Is Moses not muting?
Yeah.
Going to call him.
He's connected, but maybe he's on mute. No.
Okay.
He's not on mute. He's not on. Oh, he's on mute. Yes, he's on mute. Yeah, he's on mute. Okay. I think it's connected twice. Let's see.
So he's going to say more about it, but like one of the main activities for We Are Together Here Now is the vereniging CLT H-Buurt, is to think about how do we as a community together going, for instance, decide who is going to live in a community land trust building, and how do we going to organize community activities for members and the neighborhood. How do we know what is necessary for this neighborhood? Is it about work? Is it about network, about health? And how can we make sure that those needs are being fulfilled also by the community land trust? So that are the main activities of the CLT H-Buurt. And Moses has made a more elaborate plan also for the upcoming years that we're going to share the next time. Any questions for this part? Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, just continue, but.
Yeah, so like the previous question about what is it about the members part of the vereniging, it is, that is the big difference between a vereniging and a stichting. What are the English words? Like a foundation and a society?
Association, yeah.
Association, yes. The association has members and they have voting power. So that is a difference with a stichting where you have a board that is basically like making a plan for the future and then just move forward. Yeah. With association, you have members that are voting and have power. So this like a more democratic system. And because the association also has more checks and balances in it. Mm-hmm. So the very most important checks and balances is taking place at the ALV, the Algemene Ledenvergadering, the member meeting. So that is very important, that there is like, it's also mandatory that at least once a year there is a member meeting with all the members are convening together, maybe online, hopefully soon offline, but they are all convening and they are voting about proposals that the board is doing or that different work groups are proposing. So in that members meeting, we're going to decide, do we go left or right, or how do we proceed in the future? What plans are there? Do we agree with the board members? So if you're going to be board members, the next ALV, there are going to be a decision and a proposal like these are the board members. Are the members okay with these board members? And the decision model is a majority vote, so 50% plus 1. And also in an association, you have different roles. At least, like for the legal structure, you need to say who is the president, who is the secretary, and who is the treasurer, and who are the other board members. That is the 3 roles that are in Dutch law. You have to say who's the president, secretary, and treasurer. There's nothing we can just do about it. It's a little bit formal, but we have to like say it. And so that is the structure of a vereniging. Any questions about this part?
Is it possible? I know these are the statutory roles that are required by law. But then, are we likely to create, let's say, auxiliary positions to support the board? Is that going to be possible?
Chief Happiness.
Yes. So, what kind of roles are you thinking about?
For example, okay, you have let's say the president, secretary, treasurer. You may have, let's say, maybe an assistant president, or let's say a treasurer, or let's say organizer. I'm just mentioning some offhand. Let's say if we see the need for a certain function, which maybe cannot be fully covered by either the president, secretary, or treasurer, would it be advisable to think of creating something?
Sure. It is very good also to link it to what the vereniging tries to do. So, for example, Renze, can you go back to just as I will give an example to what we. So, for example, what are the main things that we do? So, for example, organizing community transformation activities. So that is all types of activities that will be in the plan, but it will be a little bit the same what MCTC is doing. So it would be very good to have like maybe head of community transformation activities, or I don't know, in the board, or maybe initiator for future tenders, so or for housing community infrastructure. So this means, for example, when there is an opportunity, we need to make a plan for it. So we're gonna say, we want to be a part of it as the CLT H-Buurt, and this is what we do, and we think we're the best person. So it would be good to have, for example, a head of planning or something, or and execution of allocation policy for potential candidates of housing and community infrastructure. That's one of the main roles of the CLT H-Buurt. So maybe like a membership head of members or something, or I have no idea, is also a very good one. Because these are the main things that the CLT H-Buurt will be doing, and we can expand or we can. But this is like what Moses us together came on. But yeah, so this and we could have also sharing roles. For example, volunteers, or 2 people can be the treasurer. So that's up to us.
Okay. Yep. I want to hear some other people, because I think I hear I only see my presentation screen, so I don't see other people's faces. But I hear the same voice asking questions, but are very good questions. But I want to hear some other voices. What are the other questions?
Absolutely. I hope they're not muted.
But we're almost.
Well, I just don't have any question.
Sure, you do.
If I do, I'm gonna ask, but you're asking the right questions, and I'm following.
Okay. So you're almost through the presentation, so it will be a Q&A. So that's nice.
Okay, and some more about the bylaws or the statuten. They are the how can you say it in like easy? They're like the written legal documents of the association, and these are the documents that are being signed by the notary, and they are formalized in a way. And next to the statuten or the bylaws, you can make as a association, the Dutch word is een huishoudelijk reglement, like a regulatory document where you can go more into detail. Mostly the bylaws are very general, and the huishoudelijk reglement are more in detail. So you can also with the huishoudelijk reglement at the member meeting or the ALV, you vote if this is the huishoudelijk reglement you are going to work at together. And for example, in the huishoudelijk reglement, you can decide as a association what are the criteria for who people are going to live in the community land trust complex. And for example, you can say in huishoudelijk reglement how you give certain powers to working groups, that they can make proposals to vote on the members meeting. And also in the bylaws, there's like a sentence about there's going to be, that is also mandatory also for Dutch law, there's an annual yearly report. And the annual yearly report is going to talk about the financial situation of the association and activities. So that is also one of the responsibilities of the board members together to make a yearly report. You don't have to write it yourself, but you have to like coordinate and make sure there is going to be an annual yearly report. And also in the bylaws, there's going to be an advisory board or raad van toezicht, where it is an entity or a group of people that are advising the community land trust H-Buurt. And you can also, they are going to, also it is called in Dutch raad van toezicht. So it's also about checks and balances. Also the raad van toezicht is going to check, for example, the annual yearly report and the financial report. Is it correct? And is it what is promised for activities on a given year? How is it being executed? And like mostly in most cases, it is strategic members are going to be placed in a advisory board. They are experts, or they are in the gemeente or the municipality of Amsterdam, or they are from Stichting Woon, and they have a lot of expertise about these kinds of community land trust projects. So that is something that are in the bylaws, and this is the more legal way that is necessary.
So the Raad van Toezicht is like a little bit, they represent, so going back, like the CLT Belmar as the general interest. So this is like a little bit how you can see it.
Yeah. Okay. But can I ask something? This Raad van Toezicht, which would be incorporated for the CLT H-Buurt, what would be the relationship of their powers and authority? Are they because in Holland, when you're dealing with Raad van Toezicht, there are different
it will be
and authorities given. So you have to explain a little bit. What will be the authority? Would they be more like an advisory, whereby they advise, but the CLT Belmar, the board does not necessarily need to take it, or are they going to be more like a supervisory role? Can you explain that?
That is exactly how you said it. It is like that. So there's no, it is advisory role, but the board does not need to take it. But
okay,
yeah. So this is how it is.
Okay, but then what for CLT H-Buurt? Okay, what do we want to achieve? Do we want to have like a toezicht holder that would ensure that we are doing what we said we have to do, or just for the purposes of responsibility, we are trying to have a toezicht holder?
Mostly to make sure that you get the right expertise there. So it is really, if you go back to the diagram, can you go back to the diagram, Renze? Yeah, that one. You see between the CLT H-Buurt and the CLT Belmar, there are different interests. So one, CLT H-Buurt is like the community, CLT Bijlmer is like the general interest. So it is in advice and control also a little bit, but there's not really like, at this point, it is not binding. But possibly, for example, when we're going to have the CPO or the Woon Co-op, it can be that we, depending on what we decide upon, that stuff can be binding. But that is up to discussion, you know. But I also don't know yet. But now it is really just to make sure that you have the right strategic advice in a way, and secure also this general interest. So so that you can say we have, this is how we have organized that.
And I think also when the CLT have to make a plan, somebody must keep an eye on the plan, that we follow up the plan that we've made. So I think the purpose of the TUSIT is to make sure we are following what we plan to do, and if they are there to advise us. So to keep an eye, we are doing what we are doing.
And so that's clear. And also, if you see, like, we have made some suggestions. So, for example, experts. So we are open to be one of those experts. It would be great if we would have somebody of the municipality also there. But like the European Chic program is where we have, with all the CLTs in Europe, you know, it would be great to have somebody of them in there. And Stichting Woon is like the housing organization that provides advice for Woon corporations and all kind of advice. And it's really respected in Amsterdam. That's also a very good one to have in there, you know. So it can be very strategic in a way. It will give us also some,
credibility.
Yeah, and also some linking pins with other worlds, or the municipality world, or the European world, or the housing expertise world of Stichting Woon. So sometimes a Raad van Toezicht is used in that way, to be have connections with different partners.
Okay. I would suggest probably we should consider, if we are incorporating a Raad van Toezicht, that they should have some leverage in terms of powers, so that they don't become like just a rubber stamp entity. They can advise, but they haven't got the authority to follow up and ensure that that advice has been implemented. You know, there's two things. You can advise me, but you don't have the powers to ensure that I do what you advise. So I think if we really want to have some leverage of powers, they should have some level of authority upon the board, that ABCD is advised. If the board does not do it, you know, we don't need to buy, just something I'm thinking in terms of leverage.
Can be a very, I don't know if, I know that this kind of stuff is most likely possible if we ask the notary what are the things, but can we make it also like in a way that our members can also know that their advice is being made, something like that there's a checks and balances also within the community or something. Not only that, so for example, I advise, hey guys, maybe it would be very good to be a Woon co-op, and then you guys say, no, we want to do something else. But then at least that we have a way of feeding it back also to all the members, so that everybody knows that the advice be neglected or not. Like there's a nice way. But let's ask the notary, what are the options?
I think the power of CLT belongs to the people. Everybody have one vote, and we should not give that power to anybody. The advisory committee or TUSIT elders, it's a matter of connection of trust and balance. But the power, I would say, should belong to the people. So we can talk to the notaries and find out the construction.
And also in the bylaws or statuten, you can just say that there is going to be a Raad van Toezicht. And in the huishoudelijk reglement, you can say what their roles are and how do you let it function within the association. So you can decide it. you can, like, that's maybe some kind of a compromise or balance. You can decide with all the members present in the association what are going to be the roles of the advisory board or the Raad van Toezicht, or how much power you want to give them.
Yeah.
So you, as a board of the CLT H-Buurt, can make a proposal to all the members at the ALV. This is how we are going to propose how much power the advisory board of the Raad van Toezicht is going to have. Is it none or is it a lot? So you can do a proposal for all the members and you can vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have a question. Now, what will be the difference between, let's say, the social housing, which, let's say, we get under Rochdale, for example, or any of the warning corporations, and the one that CLT will be providing?
Very good question.
Yeah.
One of the biggest differences is that you can buy and own a house.
Okay.
Or that is with the CPO, or you just own the whole structure, or like all the whole facility with all the candidates. So that is wooncoop, is that you own the whole structure with everybody and you pay like a fee for that.
Okay.
And then with like CPO, you own really like an individual house. But in the end, so the difference is that Rochdale or something who rents out in a social price, they are the owner. But here it will be in the end the CPO or the wooncoop who will be the owner. But it is decided by the CLT H-Buurt who will use it and what will be done when somebody I don't know goes away, or when somebody needs to. That's all the. So there will be like a legal connection between the wooncoop or the CPO and the CLT H-Buurt. So the CLT H-Buurt will always have that. Yeah, that right over who's. Yeah, so those type of rights is something that we are going. That's what the CLT H-Buurt can
develop.
Develop, you know.
Okay. Okay, cool. One more thing I want to say quickly. I assume, because you mentioned earlier on that the CLT H-Buurt will develop activities and programs and what have you. Now, I was just thinking, okay, if we already have CLT institutions in other places, then we might as well just, let's say, maybe take the template they have and then maybe modify so we don't like have to reinvent the whole wheel again, and causing time, making mistakes. But we can just take maybe what's available as a template and then maybe pick and choose what we want, and modify what we want, that sort of a thing. I don't know whether that's what we're going to do, but I thought I'd get a clarification on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So community land trust, it is really like a model. So every country, it is contextualized. But most importantly, the CPO and the wooncoop, that is all being developed and approved in the Netherlands. So that is fixed already, so that we don't need to invent anything about that.
Yeah.
In the CLT vereniging, it is up to us further to decide for who are we developing, how are we gonna do the criterias of the candidates, like what we have been already discussing a little bit in these community meetups.
Yeah.
So I think because we are also connected with this European program, we are maximizing the learning experience. Yeah, so I think that, but it is not like a copy and paste exercise, but the principles.
Yeah.
That is the DNA of CLT. That is what is being copied.
Yeah. Okay. So are you saying that it's possible that, for example, CLT H-Buurt and let's say CLT H-Buurt could have some differences in the way they are set up and in the rules governing the way they operate? Is that what you're saying? For sure.
For sure. And it can also be, for example, that CLT H-Buurt will have multiple buildings And they could have also multiple rules for those buildings. Who can be the candidates, or should it be on elderly and youth, or is it only on families, or like, yeah, so
These sort of things. Okay.
yeah, and but going back to what CLT H-Buurt does, is they decide on the criteria for these candidates. That is what the one of the main things is. They are, yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
If I can add one too, I think we can learn from each other, but the context is different.
Yeah.
In every
Definitely.
CLT, we have to decide according to the issues and problems and challenges in their context, what kind of activities they do. But
Yeah.
the principles we can learn from other people.
Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. Cool. Well, what does the acronym CPO mean?
It is Dutch, so it's collectief, privaat,
A privat. Okay.
ownership. So it
collective.
is. So it is like, if you Google it, CPO,
Yeah. Okay.
you will find it also that it is a way
Yeah.
to develop yourself
Yeah.
in a group.
Okay.
And it is like a way that is accepted by banks and the municipality of Amsterdam, for example, to develop yourself.
Oh wow.
But the only thing that it does is that it gives also, it excludes also people who are not have the capacity to make a very strong plan or managerial capacities. So it also discriminates in a way. So that is why, yeah, this is very good that we connected it to the CLT concept, because, yeah, we need to make this type of things more inclusive. And that's also what the municipality feels.
Yeah.
Moses, do you want to say anything else about what your ideas or vision is about the responsibility of the board?
My vision? I think that's why we are here to talk together. It's not my vision, it's our vision. And to look together. The responsibilities of the board, I think that will depend on what we already discussed before, that there be different, different responsibility for each members of the board, apart from chairman, vice chairman, or secretary, treasurer, just like Apostle
Moses,
yeah,
can I ask you something? Yeah, because you have a vision and also doubts, and you asked that also to us. That is like, how do we make sure that the board, and make it also clear to everybody, is not responsible for like all the other activities that need to come? And this is, and you have, that is why you're also making that plan, and make it also professional with a big, serious budget, with a community facilitator
that's
there,
what you meant. Okay.
and a director, and that we're gonna get funding for like 5 years, so that it is not on the board, these kind of responsibilities or activities.
Okay, that's what you meant by my vision. Okay. Anyway, I think we can send that document to every member of the board to know, because the board is just to make sure that things are running according to the principles of CLT. And then we're going to have a community facilitator and possibly a paid director that can have what we call a daily board to be running the project, because board members are there to have the vision, to make sure we make a plan and mobilize our people and have a meeting, plan budget. But there must be one or two people that will manage all these things. And that is why we are looking for, in the future, a paid director and a community facilitator. And all the projects and activities that will be done, we are working on that in that document, which can be sent when it's completed to every eventual board member to look at it and also put in your own input before we make it official and discuss it with all the members as we bring them in.
Yeah.
Because that's good also to say, like, that we have a starting budget up to September, and that we are really making a detailed plan how to get also the follow-up funding. So it's going to be really a professional thing in the end. But in this perspective, it is interesting to open up the discussion between MCTC organizes all kind of activities that are also the same activities that the... Sorry, I hear my baby in the background. My bad.
Great dad.
So MCTC organizes the activities that CLT Belmer also is going to organize in a way. So what is the relationship or the value between CLT-H and the MCTC?
Yeah, I think that is still an ongoing discussion. And I'm talking to the MCTC. We want to keep our statuten as it is. And then how we relate to CLT, that we have to discuss with the new board when the board is set up.
Yeah, because the main difference between MCTC and the CLT H-Buurt is that it has members.
Yeah.
But it's the same community.
Yeah. But that's no problem because like MCTC and we also have different, that's why I brought in PCC also, that all this community that are scattered all over Amsterdam, we can all be part of this project, not just MCTC. So if you have this first one, it's not only for the members of MCTC, but also for people that are not members of MCTC. So MCTC has its own entity as its statuten, and CLT is completely separate, so we can work together. But we have to discuss that eventually.
I think we should not only discuss it, but also make it part of the plan, how we're going to make this happen.
Yeah. Klopt.
Okay. So what are, for many others, do you see other responsibilities of the board of the CLT H-Buurt, or is it?
I think the main three responsibilities we have is providing affordable housing, and number two, social structures and social activities that can bring cohesion in our communities. Those are the core responsibility of CLT H-Buurt, and that should be our focus.
Can I come in here with a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And please, just to be sensitive, not to I think prior to this meeting, there was something on the table, a plan about the design and all these things. I'm trying to ask, now there's something they are calling new normal. So I'm trying to also ask, are we going to try to look after Corona, because now the government is still struggling with what regulations to implement, the new society. So are we going to find a way also to see to which extent do we need to, or we don't need to, change our strategy and approach concerning CLT? Are we going to be looking at that?
Before responding to that question, maybe Jeep and Renzi can do that. Something crossed my mind now, which I want us to understand. Those of us who are here in this meeting are the people who volunteered in our last meeting to be members of the board, because it was thrown open to everybody that if you want to be a member of the board, please lift up your hand. And only very few people raise up their hand. So these people are not just selected. We did not pick and select yourself. You choose to try to be members of the board, why others didn't respond. So please, I'm saying this because I know how our people think. They may start thinking that, Moses hijacked the thing or whatever, of MCTC hijacked it. That's not the purpose. So just to put that on record.
Okay. But Dr. Moses, is this known to, I want to assume, the people who are now on this call, I won't make the assumption it is known to the X number of people who have been involved till now?
Those who have been attending our meetings have been following it, they know, because the last meeting we asked people, do you want to be members of the board? So
Like, what I mean is, okay.
There was also an open call for board members that was shared by our social channels and by Cecile in multiple ways.
Yeah.
But in the original, in the official first members meeting, when members are really registered, they are going to have the choice for the board again, because they are the ones that need to. There's always a starting board, and then when people are members, they need to decide officially on the board.
Yeah.
But your question was also about the strategy that we're taking for the housing and the community infrastructure. So at this point, de vereniging CLT H-Buurt is one of their main activities. Other activities is to sign into initiatives to become to get housing or social infrastructure. So in all the different types of opportunities that are there.
So maybe let me rephrase this. What I meant was, prior to this meeting, let's say so up until end of February, if I may make that assumption, everything everybody was doing had a certain culture around it. And now it looks like society is moving in a certain direction. That is why I said, if everybody who was in that meeting and everybody who is part of CLT in the greater community is aware of this meeting, we are aware that we are going to have a board, MCTC will be involved, and the rest, that is fine. But I'm asking, now that we are meeting unofficially as people trying to think about the way forward for MCTC, I am asking, are we going to be also trying to look at what will be the effect, the opportunity of the situation we find ourselves in at this moment with regards to the CLT project?
Specifically, please.
What I mean is, like, let's say the CLT project has certain things in place, cohesion, verbinding, and all these things. But the situation at the ground at the moment, whereby businesses and companies, both economical and social, are being moved in a direction that they need to change. With this social distancing thing, you have to make sure that this time you have to change the way you have arranged things. So I'm asking that, are we going to be looking at what will be the effect, the effect of the policies that the government is going to be coming up with? What will be its effect against the CLT project?
So maybe we can pause this. Maybe we can just answer to this question, that we are going to adjust the plan every time. We first need to come. We are making this first plan for the coming 5 years, and then a more detailed for the coming year. We're going to discuss it next week. And if there are opportunities or priorities because of the current situation, we're for sure going to take that on board. But I don't know. At this point, there's nothing in there.
Okay.
Maybe can you go to the last slide, Renze, or ask around, but just to make sure that everybody gets the next steps.
Yeah. So we have very practical next steps. Because when we are together with the notary, she needs our legal, how do you call it? Identification. So it needs to be a passport that Cecile is going to collect. So we can send it to the notary, and then at the call with the notary, we can sign online. It is an exception because of the corona situation. And we have to make sure that we are going to say which board member is going to be in which function. So you have to also decide with each other, and I hope Cecile is coordinating it, who is going to be representative for which function, who's going to be the president, who's going to be the secretary, who's going to be the treasurer and or the vice president, and are there any other roles we want to be clear about now? And we have to say who is going to be like which role when we are talking to the notary. So
but
that is
additional
one thing.
roles we don't need to take on officially in the statutes, right?
No, we don't have to. We can if we want, but we don't have to. And there are the bylaws, the statuten, and Cecile is going to send those to everyone, and you can also have a look at them. And so we can collect the feedback for the statuten, and we can also send it to the notary, and it will help. I think if it's possible, if Cecile is going to send it fast, then we can, if it's suitable, we can. What is here?
We're gonna get the bylaws until next week, eh? So we're not. Remember?
Yeah.
So
That's also Okay. Yeah, go for it.
We only have a week.
yeah, so we don't know when we're gonna get the bylaws next week. So most likely, what will happen is that when we're gonna receive it next week, we're gonna send it further. But on the next meeting, we'll just really go through it. I think that's what will happen.
And then postpone the meeting with notaries?
No, I think the notary will also go through it because it's also the statutes are in Dutch, which is really maybe a thing for people.
No, yep, we're going to do it differently. This is what we're going to do. We're going to send the bylaws this evening, and I'm going to ask if it's possible by you to give your feedback. If you want to give feedback on the bylaws this Monday morning, and then I'm going to send it to the notary as well, together with our feedback, and so we have everything ready before the 30th.
Okay.
But it is very confusing now, the bylaws. You know that. So if you want to create confusion,
No, it will be okay.
All right.
It's good to have the draft so that every potential board member can also make their own suggestion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it this way. So we're going to send it very shortly, and then you can give feedback on the bylaws. It is like, to give like a wording, it is the legal lawyer's language. So it is, I don't know why they just not make it very much simpler in like language that everyone understands, but it is sometimes a little bit tough, but know that there's been thought about also by the notary and also by us, so there's like a very good baseline of the bylaws, but you can always give feedback, and it's good to know what you are signing the 30th.
But the board can always change the bylaws.
Always.
Okay.
Always. You always have the opportunity to change the bylaws. And keep in mind that the bylaws are very general, and you have another document, the huishoudelijk reglement, where you can be more specific. Because if you always can change the bylaws, that's in your power of the board, but it costs money if you want to do so with the notary. So you want to make it like general enough, but you don't want to change it every other year or week because it costs money.
You give room for interpretation. Okay.
Yes.
But let me ask you, the statuten, huh?
Yeah.
I thought, maybe I may be wrong, I thought the statuten, the individuals or the people who are intending to incorporate a body, they have a kind of conversation with a notary, express their intentions to him, and then he comes with a draft. Is that what we're doing, or something?
Yeah, the notary already made a draft because we asked him to do so. So we already have a draft. We're going to send it to you. And at the 30th of April, he is going to go through it again to make sure everybody's understanding what he or she is signing. And then also at that time, there's room to give feedback or change things in the statuten. But we already have a draft, so we can share it.
Okay, and it's going to be a name.
It's,
Vereniging,
yes, it's
yeah.
going to be a vereniging.
So this draft we're talking about, are we assuming then that the members of the association are already aware of the core points that will be in this draft?
No, that's going to be done at the first members meeting.
Okay, and
Because members will
yes
need
and
to.
no, because the like the how do you call it, doelstellingen or the objectives or the goals or that is being formalized based on all the community meetings before this. So it's not like it is just from thin air. It is based on all the community meetings that we have done, and that are the objectives or the goals for this statuten.
Okay, and there will be no backlash from the members of the association as to the people who have been selected to be on the board.
That's always a possibility with members meeting, but so you have to go to vote about it with each other.
But there are also that's we're gonna be an empty vereniging yet, eh? Or you guys are most likely going to be also the only members.
Yeah,
because we really need to register officially, and also registering, we need to decide if we're gonna ask for a little bit of fee or something. It needs to be really a really official thing.
Yeah, because with association, it's very, very, very interesting when you have an association. Could it be possible? Just a suggestion I'm giving, just a suggestion. Could it be possible to, if we, I don't know, maybe legally you can have an association and have a stake thing being a member of the association?
Good question.
Because if we are going to incorporate it now with board members already in there, and then we go back to the members, I'm just thinking maybe, I'm just suggesting it, if a stake thing with the board members in there, that stake thing is then later on that stake thing becomes a member of the association. Just thinking, well, because of the implications of what we are trying to do.
Now, with a vereniging, it is really people. So with a cooperation, that is different, but it is really people.
Okay.
Real people with heads and hands. And
Human beings, me.
Human beings, yes. And it is like, this is the very democratic, ethical question about the association, because you need to start somewhere. So you need to start with a board with people that are representing the association, so you can have also a Chambers of Commerce number. And then you go to the members to, like the very first members meeting, ask, is this okay? But you need to start somewhere.
And what I need to add is the current board we are putting together is just interim to be able to register the association. So when we have the first all members meeting, we're going to present the board to them to ratify. And even during that period, we can add or remove or subtract to have the read board. So,
Okay.
But then we do not even at this stage have registered members of the association. So we still have to before somebody has the right to vote or to not to vote somebody, the person must be a registered member, isn't it, of the association? So all that we have to still arrange. So like Pastor Moses is saying, okay, we have an interim board. Then the very first meeting that we're going to have, I guess it's going to be maybe a gathering of people who have been interested in and following the the CLT so far, and then maybe at that meeting we're going to let them know, okay, what is required of them, etc., etc. So then before we actually meet them, we need to set up maybe our house rules about what we expect them to do. We'll of course brief them about the Constitution, and they have room to give and take, and also they're going to tell them what is expected of them as members of this association. So I think everything is kind of like in motion, and nothing is set in what you call in concrete yet, except for the interim board, of course, which we'll set up. Even that may change at the first official meeting, maybe. So I think everything is kind of fluid at this stage.
Yeah, and that is exactly also the role of the board to make things more explicit and more clear. So what is it going to, what are the roles of a member and what is a membership fee, for example?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Precisely.
I have a question about the memberships. We have the we have the CLT H-Buurt and we have the CLT Belma. How do you tackle the membership? Do you have people register in CLT Belma and at the same time register in H-Buurt? How is this registration thing going to be?
So, can I answer?
Yeah.
So the CLT Belmar is nothing at this point. The only thing that the CLT Belmar is that it will be like the board of advisory a little bit of the Vereniging H-Buurt. So all the members that are really registering and want to become a member will be a member of the Vereniging CLT H-Buurt. So all the people that up to so far gave their address and their name are not yet members. They were just participants because you could not be a member yet.
Yeah.
So members will be the member of the Vereniging H-Buurt. CLT H-Buurt.
At CLT Belma, we do not have members. It's going to just be an advisory board.
At this point, yes.
Okay. Let's assume that I live in the K neighborhood and I'm coming to the meetings of CLT. And we are at the point of registering. So where do I register?
At this point,
I don't belong to the H-Buurt.
Yeah, so that is why what is in the name. You can always let's take the example of a football club. When you are from the K-Buurt, you can also go to the football club in the H-Buurt. So, but maybe your only locality is different. But we can change the name of CLT H-Buurt Vereniging. If you guys feel that it is excluding. But for now we took the name CLT H-Buurt just to make it more close to the community of MZTC. So if you guys feel that maybe community land trust it could be better CLT MZTC, for example, or CLT something else.
Whatever, yeah.
This is if you have ideas about it, Francis.
Yeah.
I think strategically, CLT H-Buurt is very important. If you look at government policies concerning how Amsterdam Southhold is divided, the question of Dr. Francis can be answered with those three circles we have. Because CLT is for people living in H-Buurt and also for people outside, people living outside the community where the CLT is built. They can still be members. Am I correct?
I think about CLT Belma or CLT H-Buurt.
H-Buurt. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Renzi and Egypt.
No, you're right.
Okay. So that solves the problem. You can
because it can even be, this, as an example, what it can even be that there will be a tender to say you can make a loan co-op, you can make a plan to be a loan cooperation in the K-Buurt because there's going to be a plot there. Then CLT H-Buurt can make that plan for the K-Buurt and then actually can deliver those members for that certain. So it is not that we have to make the building in the H-Buurt or something. It just, so this is like a possibility. But it is just, it is really a choice, and it can be a strategic choice because let's take an example. Moses, we have been Moses was interviewed by the municipality, who is going to redevelop the area where now the current MCTC center is in those parking lots, to say, would you be interested to be a part in this development? Maybe it is not like that you can get this development or something, but just would you be interested? Would you be interested to play a role in the participation about this project? And if you are CLT H-Buurt, yeah, that is of course a strong case that you're making there.
Yeah.
And also important to know that we are positioning at this moment the CLT H-Buurt. If you can you go to the main activities again of the CLT H-Buurt in Rensen? So one further.
This one?
No, one further with the activities of what we're. Oh.
Main activities, CLT H-Buurt?
Yeah. Is that we are trying to develop or trying to develop affordable housing, but also community infrastructure. And by that we mean, for example, a place for little businesses or a place for like the activities that MCTC is doing. So it's initiator for future tenders for housing and community infrastructure. So we're really trying to use also the MCTC position at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
To be like that it is really like a unique selling point that we have as community land trust H-Buurt, that we actually are doing community transformation activities that we have been rooted in the H-Buurt already for a long time as MCTC, and now we are really trying to organize ourselves to make sure that we create a place for people and to structure what we have been doing. That's what I want to say.
Okay. Because I present my screen, I don't see a time anywhere, but how are we with time? Do we have some, do we need to just check out, close?
Renzi, you guys have wristwatch. We have time.
At 6:45 now, you guys started at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I think we are getting to the edge of our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I notice I get a little bit tired after seeing a screen for almost 2 hours, so I need to. It will help me to check out in a good way.
But we've not heard from Fred, Angel, and others.
Exactly.
No, I didn't say anything because I didn't have anything to say.
Okay.
But all good so far. Thanks.
Okay, but you follow us. You follow the
Oh
discussions.
yeah, amazing questions. I'm for now nothing is popping up. I'm just grasping the idea of everything. I'm not very used to a business model like this, so if I have a question, I'll ask.
Okay. Jeep, you mentioned Renzi, the role of board members. Who's going to be treasurer, secretary, chairman, and we need to decide that before the 30th of April. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Wow, that's in a week's time.
Yes.
When do we do that then?
Nee, dat zou wel moeten, maar ik krijg niet voor.
I think we need to let people know what positions are available. I don't think there should be too many positions, but responsibility. And then people can indicate now or later, but I think they might prefer to do that now. Who wants to take what position? What responsibility? Let's not say position.
The floor is open.
Yeah, but is there a president or a chairman or what is there on the floor?
Cecil, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, read it for us. The first page of the document.
Yes.
Organization.
Yes, okay.
But Moses,
Yeah.
would it be weird if can you say, do you see a role for yourself?
You're a politician, Jeep. Well, I think I will be more comfortable with a vice chairman.
I don't know if there's a chair position available.
Once we have a chair, I'm proposing Apostolari as the
Oh
chairman.
my God. Well, because you mentioned vices, and I said, no, you rather become the chairman because
And I'm proposing
you're
Pastor Chris as the treasurer.
you are so much into CLT
And I'm proposing
Larry, it's temporary. It's temporary. It's temporary. It's just for the paperwork.
Okay.
If you promise, doctor, if you promise it's temporary, that is fine.
No, it's interim, and the membership can confirm it or replace it.
Oh, please. Why don't we make the two gentlemen? I keep mixing their names up. The moderators of this conference. One of them assume chairman, the other assume vice chairman.
No. They are expert advisors. They can't be in the board. This is our team. This is our own team.
So we can't import their expertise and make them as members of the board.
We can do the interim role of Raad van Toezicht.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just suggesting all these people that are here today, they are interim board members.
Yeah.
And the chairman, Apostolari, the treasurer, brothers Chris, the secretary, Angel, members, Sundu, Fred, and Philip, and I will be vice president. Just write it like
everybody.
This is the advantage and disadvantage when you have your chairman.
Well, I love delegation.
We've not had Philip.
I love the way you're delegating, bureaucratic.
It's suggestion, not delegation.
You know why? This is what happens when you have your chairman from PCC sitting with you in the meeting.
I'm only suggesting.
I still haven't heard your voice about this.
About the roles you mean?
Yeah, what are the responsibilities available?
Okay, so we have a chairman, a vice chairman, secretary, treasurer, members representative, planning representative. Yep, hello?
Is it possible to get a description, a small role description for these hats? I mean, it makes sense what they do, but it'd be nice to have.
Okay. We can send that to you before Friday, Saturday.
Okay, great. Okay. So Dr. Francis, that's what I have for you.
Okay, I heard you.
But this is what we have, Cecile.
Yes.
If you look at the legal, this statutory or the role of each board member is stated there. And Renzi will send that to us tomorrow.
Yeah, but I think, just to be clear, I think these are the roles that are there. So how many are we at this point?
I think 7 or so.
7. So there are 7 roles. So chairman, vice chairman, secretary, treasurer, members representative. So he is for the execution of the allocation policy for potential candidates of housing and community infrastructure. You have the community representative, organizing the community transformation activities for members and neighborhoods. So it is not who is doing that, but that's just what is under your thing. Planning representative, initiator for future tenders for housing and community infrastructure. So this just follows the main activities of the vereniging that that then at least have a representative that can look what is happening and to keep him informed. So then there are actually 7 roles.
Yeah.
No, but which person is going to be at which role? And I can understand people asking, like, I need some more information before I'm going to like commit myself to something also interim, but I need some more information. So my question is, if we're going to send out information, how are we going to decide which person is going to be linked to which role?
We have a combination of WhatsApp on our WhatsApp, the CLT WhatsApp.
I think it's good to send all the roles to everybody so that everybody will see.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of sleep on it. I mean, I've got an idea, but it'd be nice to just go through it outside of this meeting.
Okay. Cecile, is it possible to make a WhatsApp group?
Not of the board members yet, but that's what I still have to do at this point.
Okay.
Can't we use the existing platform to do this?
No.
I think so that we do not, we need to make a decision before the 30th. Duplicating a lot of things are not very handy for me and also for efficiency. This is an interim measure. If we can use the existing platform to make these decisions and key in vital people into vital.
Yeah, so I think we'll think of something.
All right.
So rondvraag, so that we can close the meeting.
Yeah. The next steps. The last point says point B, 4B says presentation of 5-year plan. Is that what the interim board is going to take up? Are we going to have to develop that, or are you just going to present what is already available? Just some clarification on that, please.
Can I do the clarification?
Yes, sir.
At this moment, Moses and Cecile are in the lead to make that plan, at least at the concept stage, which is good enough to share and to give feedback. And I am advising on that. And it will entail a plan, and it will entail the how we're going to do it, why we're going to do it, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll also have a budget and how we are intending to get that budget. So it will be pretty complete, and we are already a good way ahead. So the leads are Cecile and Moses on this, and I'm advising on it. And then we're going to all have to contribute to it in the end to see if we get some ownership about it.
Okay, awesome. Well done, you guys.
Dus als ik het goed begrijp, gaat het nu om een tijdelijke vereniging op te richten. Tenminste, een vereniging op te richten waarin het bestuur zich tijdelijk manifest. Waardoor er een vergadering komt en er een nieuwe ledenvergadering komt. En dan daaruit wordt dan gekozen wie de voorzitter gaat worden en wie penningmeester en die dingen meer.
Klopt.
Nee, klopt niet. We moeten nu al besluiten. We have to decide. Is easier in English or Dutch?
No, say it in Dutch for him to get it right.
We moeten nu besluiten voor 30 april wie er voorzitter, secretaris en penningmeester wordt en algemene bestuursleden. Dat moet besloten worden voor 30 april. En de andere dingen die je zegt klopt. Daarna zeg maar op de algemene ledenvergadering wordt een voorstel gedaan van dit zijn de bestuursleden die de vereniging gaan besturen. Zijn jullie hiermee akkoord?
Ja, maar die kunnen dus ook toch herkozen worden door eventueel andere mensen. Dat het nu alleen gaat om een naam, in principe. Dat je zegt van, oké, ik wil voorzitter worden. Dat je mijn naam daar neer zou kunnen zetten als tijdelijk. Tot een eerste ledenvergadering komt. En dan er officiële voorzitter wordt gekozen.
Ja, precies. Ja. Zo vind ik ook.
Exact.
Ja, toch?
Ja.
Klopt.
Nou, om de vereniging bij wijze van spreken een gestalte te kunnen geven, zou je mij kunnen nemen als voorzitter. Tot de eerste ledenvergadering komt. En dan een nieuwe bestuur wordt gekozen uit de ledenvergadering. Uit de leden die het oorspronkelijk zijn.
Dat is mooi.
Ja.
Dan in dat geval maak Apostolari de treasurer. En dan ik zou zijn assistent worden.
Chris, nee, you are running away. Hè?
Weet je waarom? Kijk, ik wil graag het doen. Oké, maar ik denk dat we hebben iemand nodig. Dat is 40 uur per week dedicated aan de boekhouding van deze.
Nee,
I have two of those positions. It's too heavy.
Okay, but it's not like you need to be 40 hours dedicated a week to it.
I'd rather do something else than again.
You just put my name there. I mean, it's sacrifice we are making, and we'll cross the bridge together. Okay?
That's my guy. Goed. Meer een vraag? Philip, we have not heard from you. Is he there? Or he was not in the meeting? No. Philip? Hello?
Who's Philip?
Philip is there, but he didn't talk.
No.
Oh, he cannot unmute himself.
Het is 19 uur.
Yeah.
Oh, he cannot unmute himself.
Yeah, I don't know. Philip. Philip, he can't unmute himself.
It's also okay. He talks maybe as much as me.
I'm calling him on my phone. That's right. No response. Yeah. Okay. So we have to close it now.
Okay. I have a few. I have like 2 questions. I've been asked to collect the passports, and my question to all is it okay, and by when can they send it? I would prefer to have it before the end of the week, if possible.
A copy.
Yeah, from the.
Yes, a copy.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll send my immediately after the meeting.
Thank you so much. So I'll also send a reminder for those that
You also receive my
email address, Cecil. Can you put your email address?
Yes, of course. I'll put it in the board members group.
Okay, so we use that. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And the next board meeting, or is someone else doing that? Yeah?
No?
No? Okay. Yeah, the next board meeting will be on the 30th of April from 5 to 6. And my question is, will you all be able to be present on that day?
It's a Thursday, like today, a week from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which date did you say?
Subdetize.
30th of April. That's on a Thursday.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
The 30th of April.
Yes.
30 april.
Ja, 30 april. Van 5 tot 6.
Ja.
30 april. Ik heb het opgeschreven.
Thank you so much. So Pastor Chris is okay with it? Red is okay?
It's okay with me, but I would have to really leave at 6.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. Dr. Francis?
That's okay.
Yeah, great. Am I missing someone? Chris, am I missing someone? No? Okay, because I have Pastor Chris, Angel, Fred, and Dr. Francis. Okay.
Yeah?
I think we
are done?
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. I really want to thank all of you for making the time to attend. And I want to, on behalf of every one of us, to thank Jeep and Renzi.
Yes.
You guys have worked hell out of
great.
yourself, day and night, meetings upon meetings. Start deal with call that stakeholder. If you go to the website, you will see all that has been done in the last 4 months. Incredible. So I want to thank Cecil also. We have worked our head off.
Yeah. God bless you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank all of you very much.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Take good care of yourselves.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
See you next
Thank
week.
you.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.